Do you hear me? First, I'd like to say thanks to the ASA and Joe for inviting me. It's a great opportunity, and I look forward to kind of speaking to everyone and telling everyone a little bit more about digital marketing and how you can be using it to help your business grow. Joe already introduced me, but I'm Brian Ferrito. I'm a director of digital marketing for 42 Connect. We're a Cleveland-based digital marketing firm. I have over 15 years experience in digital design and marketing, worked with clients such as Tiger Woods, Moen, GE, Eaton Corporation, and more. We're a Google certified partner, and we've managed over $800,000 in annual ad spend from our clients. Goals today, I really want to try to help you understand how to use digital marketing, what digital marketing is, and how it can help your business grow. Make sure that you're set up for success. So if you're going to decide, or if you're already doing some digital marketing, or you're new to it, making sure that all the foundations are there for you to be successful. And then walk away with at least one or two action items that I'm hoping that you can kind of take away today and either take back to your office and say, hey, if we're not doing this, we need to be doing it, or if we are, let's make sure we're doing it the right way. I'm going to kind of walk around here, so if you guys don't mind. So why digital marketing? The evolution of the sales process is happening, right? The way we do business today is drastically different than the way we did it probably 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. 42% of the buyers today use a mobile device during a B2B purchasing process, okay? It's younger and younger people are becoming decision makers, and they're going online. 67% of the buyer's journey is digital. That means they're going online or using their mobile device as part of that sales process. And 48% of the buyers are millennials and growing, right? So this number is getting larger and larger as younger and younger people enter the workforce. And not only are they entering the workforce, they're starting to become decision makers, so people that you're dealing with. So you're probably dealing with some of them right now today, and if you're not, in 5 or 10 years you will be. And the next generation that's coming through is even younger and more exposed to mobile devices and the internet. They grew up with a phone in their hand. So growing your business, how do you grow your business today? Some of you guys might have a sales force, sales guys. You might rely on referrals. If you're a small business, and we even have referrals at time to time, that's one way to grow your business. But you can't rely on referrals alone, okay? It's not consistent. There's no steady flow of leads. You have no control over the type of leads that you're going to get from referrals. We work with all kinds of clients. I had a guy call me the other day and said, hey, you're doing business with so-and-so. He knows you're into computers and does some graphics. Can you do a business card for us? Not exactly what we do, right? So I have no control over that. I can't tell you who's going to call me. It's difficult to expand into new markets or cross-sell my services, right? My clients aren't salespeople. They're not my sales force. So I can't introduce a new service or cross-sell a service that maybe I want to continue to push. Plus, I can't really expand into new markets unless I have clients in that market. We're a Cleveland-based firm. If I wanted to start doing business in Cincinnati, I better have clients in Cincinnati if I'm relying on referrals. And finally, there's no data. I have no data to help me make decisions moving forward on my marketing or sales strategy, okay? I have no idea what that conversation was prior to the person calling me, what type of terminology they used, or what that interaction was like. So what can I do? I can look at digital marketing and kind of be the polar opposite of referral-based marketing in terms of my sales and growth. With digital marketing, if done right, I can get a consistent flow of leads. I have much better targeting. The amount of data that's available to me, I can hone in on exactly who I want to target. I can hone in on their age, what companies they work for, where they're located, what device I want to hit them with. So the amount of data that's at my fingertips really makes it appealing. I can easily break into new markets. My Cincinnati example, if I wanted to start offering my services in Cincinnati, I can run ads in Cincinnati market right down to the zip code and only have people in that zip code see my ads. Okay, pretty powerful. Finally, My digital marketing strategy should assist in my current sales process. I'm not saying that digital marketing is going to just take over and it's all your leads and all your sales are going to come in through digital marketing. It's part of a full strategy from your sales end, okay? So if you have a sales force, if you have a sales team, having a good digital marketing strategy is just going to help it, and it's going to feed that pipeline for those people to be able to go ahead and close those deals. So what is digital marketing? Okay? By definition, it's a promotion of products and services using digital channels such as search engines, websites, email, apps, social networks, all using internet-enabled devices. So basically, anywhere you go on the internet, you have the opportunity to market to somebody. I'm going to touch on a couple of the strategies that are used, and then I'm going to go in depth in a few more of these. And so on a high level, you have search engine optimization. This is, and I have people call me all the time, and clients come and say, I want to be on Google. I need to be in the search results. That's what search engine optimization is. Then we have paid search ads or pay-per-click advertising, also known as PPC. This is also interchangeable terms that people use quite a bit. This is kind of the pay-to-play opportunities on Google. If I want to be number one for a search term in Google, I can pay and be right there, okay? Then we have display ads, remarketing, programmatic. This stuff can get really in-depth and complicated, but it's basically your traditional banner ads that you see on websites. Social media marketing, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. All these constitute social media marketing. And then content marketing, I have blogs, articles, white papers, videos, YouTube channels. All this is what's considered content marketing. And then we have email marketing. Each one of these serves a different purpose. They have a different strategy behind them. Search engine optimization, for example, it's a long-term strategy. What I do today, I'm probably not going to see results for another 6 to 8 months. Where pay-per-click advertising, I can turn on an ad campaign today and see instant results tomorrow. Okay? Social media is really good for brand building and authority, building trust within an audience. Same with content marketing. So now what? Some of you may be doing some digital marketing. Some of you may not. Maybe you just dabbled in it. It's like, okay, I understand that digital marketing can help my business grow. Now you've laid out all these different strategies. What the heck do I do now? So today I'm going to talk to you about SEO, search engine optimization, and PPC advertising. I'm going to talk about these two strategies. I think it's a great starting point. If you're not doing anything today, this is a good place to start. If you are doing one of these, maybe I can give you a tip or some more insight on how to do it better. So I know a lot of you are asking, like, what about social media? What about blogs? Like, I had my buddy told me I should be on Facebook. I need to be doing this. And that's great. And social media is a really good channel. It's a great platform. Again, this is LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all these different areas. This is what I'm going to say about social media and blogging. If you're not willing to do it consistently and ongoing, it's not going to be effective. They're great channels, they're great strategies, but you must have the time and the resources to do it. Okay, they take a lot of effort. The best example I can give you is right after New Year's, everyone hits the gym, right? My New Year's resolution, I'm going to work out every day. And the gym's packed for 2 weeks, and then in the third week, there's half the people, and then by the fourth week, like it's the same, like 3 people in the gym, right? That's kind of what happens with social media. We talk to clients, they're all psyched up, yeah, I want to do this, I'm going to do social media, great. We give them some tips and some insights on how to do that, and they write 2 or 3 blog posts, and they post 2 or 3 updates on social media, and that's it. I had a client the other day come in and say, yeah, we got a blog. And I went and looked at it, and the last post was from 2016, right? It's not effective unless you do it consistently and ongoing. So before you start any digital marketing, or if you're currently doing any digital marketing, make sure that you're set up for success. Again, when a client comes in and we talk to them, the first thing we're going to do is tell them, I don't want you to waste any money. We looked at your website, and your website's not ready. If your website's not ready, it's really the foundation. I can drive the best traffic, the most qualified traffic in the world to your site. I can say, here's 15 people who match exactly your profile of what you wanted, and have them come to your site. But if your site's a failure, you're gonna waste your money, you're gonna waste your time, okay? So make sure that your website's ready. Responsive design. Does your site give the user a good experience on all devices? So if I'm sitting at my desk and I'm on a big 24-inch monitor, or I'm at home on my laptop, on my phone, on my iPad, people are taking in information from all these different devices. You better make sure that your site's responsive and makes sense on all these and gives a good user experience. Do I have clear messaging on my website, right? Is there a focus on my UVP, my unique value proposition, or the benefits that I offer? A lot of these sites that I kind of go to, I see a lot of information, but it's not real clear. It's not telling me how they can help me. So having the clear and focused messaging. And then is there a clear call to action? Once I get on your site, what am I there for? What action do you want me to take next? You know, my example right here is call me. That's how we move forward. I can call you right from my phone, and we can track that. Maybe it's request a quote, contact us, whatever it might be, make sure you have a good call to action. And then is it easy to navigate? Basically my last line on here is don't make me think. Can I find the information I want in 1 to 2 clicks? If not, then your site's probably not organized the right way. So site structure becomes really important. I'm going to use this example of a site. And I do have permission to use this. I talked to this person. Okay, all right. So I do have permission to use this as an example. And I think it's a great example, honestly. I think there's a lot of potential here. There is a lot of content, but this site looks very busy, right? My eye doesn't know where to go. All the fonts are relatively the same size. There's a lot of blue on the page, so there's not a lot of contrast. And since all the fonts are similar in size, my eye doesn't even know where to go. There's no one message that stands out. Okay, so if everything's important, nothing's important, right? So I don't know really what the main message of this site is. I really can't say from a quick glance, this is exactly what they do and how they can help me. The biggest thing that stands out on the page is their logo. And that brand doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't say what they do. Unless I'm in the industry, I have no idea who this is or what they're doing. Okay? The other thing is, be conscious of your imagery. It's a picture of a skyline. I'm sure at the time when they chose this, it made sense, but it really doesn't give me any insight into what this company does. And then finally, and most importantly, this is what the site looks like on a mobile phone. Basically, it's a squished down small version. I can't read any of this copy. I have to kind of do the pinch and pull to make it larger. I can't click on anything. There's no clear call to action. I think if I look at it long enough, I kind of see this click here, but that's not really intuitive. I'm clicking here why? I'm not reading anything on this site because it all looks the same. Okay? Understand that when people come to your website, they don't read, they scan. And there's nothing really for me to scan. By contrast, this is a client of ours that we recently worked with. And they had a very, very similar situation. I wish I would have done a before and after picture because the before was very similar to the site I just showed you. It had a bunch of content, it was very busy, everything had the same amount of weight to it, so therefore nothing was important. So we came in and we worked with this client, we came up with a really dynamic image. It's really clear, I don't have to read a single thing on this website, and I know they do something with gears. That's all I know at this point. But then I have a clear headline that says, we're the leader in industrial gear manufacturing. So now I know they're in industrial gear manufacturing and they're a leader. They're saying they're really good at it, okay? There's a clear call to action, request a quote. It's right there, it's front and center. This is the action I want you to take. If you're looking for industrial gear manufacturing, click this button, okay? There's good contrast, there's dark and then a lot of white space, and then it goes further down and starts talking about more of their unique value proposition and the services they offer. More importantly, on this side, you have the phone, and this is a great example of responsive website design. The whole thing shifts. The image goes on top, the headline falls below, the call to action still within the viewport of my phone. I don't have to scroll at all in order to get all the information. Without even scrolling, I know exactly what this company does and I know the exact action they want me to take. Okay? Make sure your site's set up for success. All right, so I talked a lot about that. I'm going to keep coming back to that point and making a lot of references to your website because all these things kind of work together. And as I kind of said, I can drive all the traffic to your website with your exact potential clients. But if your website fails, it's going to be a lot of waste, right? Wasted money and wasted time. So a good thing to start off with is search engine optimization. I'm going to refer to it as SEO, which is just an acronym for search engine optimization. This is the process of increasing your rank in search engines such as Google or Bing, okay? The results are traffic from free or organic results. I do a quick search in Google, heavy equipment appraisal. These are the results I get. The top 2 listings, we're going to talk about this in a minute, those are paid ads. Those are people who are paying to be there. What falls below here is what are called organic results. And this is what's great about SEO. I can get 1,000 clicks on this. Okay, if I show up in here, I can get 1,000 clicks and it doesn't cost me a penny. So if you want to do your own search engine optimization,
I'm third.
You're third, let's go. Maybe I give you a tip on how to get up there. If you can get on the page 1 in Google, and let me tell you, 98% of searchers choosing business on page 1. 98%. So people aren't going to page 2 or 3. So if you're not on page 1 on Google, you pretty much, your business pretty much doesn't exist. So these are organic results. This is what we're going to talk about. Your listings are always going to fall below paid results. Okay, again, what's beneficial here is those are free. Search engine optimization is a long-term strategy. What do I mean by this? I mean that you can do a little bit of work on your website today, and typically you won't see results of that work for another 6 to 8 months. You'll gradually see some increases, but I don't want to set the expectation that I'm going to give you some tips on what to do, that you can run back to your office, do these tips, and then next week you're going to be on the first page of Google. Unfortunately, it's not how it works. There's about 200 ranking factors that Google says are out there that determine where you fall in their rankings. And honestly, this changes all the time. This changes all the time, and there was just a report yesterday or 2 days ago that Google changed their algorithm and how they serve up search results and put more emphasis on certain ranking factors. So it's constantly a moving target, and that's also why it's an ongoing strategy. Understanding keywords. As obvious as it seems like it is to me, I'm going to explain what a keyword is so you guys have a better understanding of it. And really a keyword is, what do people type into Google to find your product or service, right? When you guys are searching, and I'm going to reference this as my example throughout this presentation. If I want red Nike shoes, that's what I type into Google, that's my keyword. That's what I'm going to consider a keyword. Whatever people are typing into Google to find a product or a service. Okay, so don't be afraid to be specific. You need to pick out some keywords and understand them, and then start to develop your pages around those keywords. But it doesn't have to be, for search engine optimization, it doesn't have to be that complicated, really. You start looking at what are my services, what do I offer, and go from there. So I don't want to just say appraisals. Well, that's way too vague, it's way too broad. There's jewelry appraisals, real estate appraisals, I don't know the intent of that search. So I want to be really specific as I can when I'm talking about keywords and starting to optimize. So maybe it's farm equipment appraisal services, and that's the service that I provide. So I'm going to develop my content around that. The next thing that you're going to want to do are get some Google tools. These tools are free. Again, this would be one of those main takeaways. If you don't already have this, these are one of the things that you really need to do. And I apologize if all I do is talk about Google, but really that's the main player in the whole space. They pretty much dominate and rule the internet, to be honest. So all my references are going to be toward Google. I don't get paid by Google in any way. I just learned to play within their rules. So get Google tools. If you don't have a valid Gmail account, or if your company's not using the G Suite, get yourself a free Gmail account. Okay, that's the first thing you need to do, because all these tools are free, but you need to have a Gmail. So you're going to go to Google Analytics, do a search for Google Analytics. Once you have your Gmail account, sign up for it. I really hope that everyone has Google Analytics installed on their website right now, but if you don't, if you do nothing else, make sure you do that, okay? Google Analytics is a tool that tells you how people are interacting with your website and what they're doing on it, who they are, where they came from, how much time they spend on it, what pages they went to. It's invaluable in terms of data. Google Search Console is the next thing you're going to want to do with that new Gmail account. Sign up for Google Search Console. This is an area where Google will tell you if there's problems with their website, if they can see your website, if there's an error in your website, it's going to alert you to that. This is like Google's way of saying, hey, you got check marks all in here. Your site's being seen by Google's search engine. Okay, real important. It also gives you some other really good data in terms of, it will start to tell you what terms people are using to find your website. Okay, so really, really valuable. And then finally, Google Ads. You sign up for Google Ads, and I'm going to get into this further in my presentation. But even if you don't end up running Google Ads, there's a free tool in there called Keyword Planner. And it's really valuable. You can type in some keywords, and Google will spit back how many people search for that keyword. And it will also give you other options. So if you're looking for what content should I start to create. So here it is, the 4 top tips for search engine optimization. These are kind of like the 4 basics. And if you're really into SEO and understand it, this is kind of SEO 101. But there's the 4 things that you really need to do in order to kind of get your site up and running and off the ground. The first and foremost is write good content. What does that mean? I touched on it a little bit when I said, is your website ready for success? Really good content revolves around these search terms that we talked about. If I'm going after people, and my main source of business is farm equipment appraisal services, then I need to write as much of the content as I can around that term, okay, and dedicate a page to it. But make sure that the content's written for a human, right? Solve my problems. Give me the answers that I'm looking for. Does it serve a purpose, and does it fill my needs? That's it. If you keep it simple, it doesn't have to be 3 pages worth of content, but it's got to address those issues, okay? Google will reward you if you create relevant content. If what I'm searching for matches up with what's on your page, I will be rewarded, okay? So don't write for Google, write for a human, solve my problems, make it easy, make it clear, give me the answers I'm looking for. Descriptive page titles, headlines, and meta descriptions. These are a little bit more technical, so you would need a web developer to help you out with these, or if you're running a WordPress website, and I'm going to guess that a handful of you probably have a WordPress website, you're going to want to download the Yoast SEO plugin, okay? It's a real simple tool that will allow you to do this information up here. It will allow you to write good page titles. So the page title is not seen by the user typically. It shows up in the little tab. I'm going to show you an example here in a minute of where that shows up. It shows up in your Google search results as well. But this should be the topic of your page. Again, farm equipment appraisal services. and then maybe your brand name after that. But that's the main point of this page. That's what the title is. It should include that headline, right? What are people searching for? The headline, have a good headline. Make sure it's clear. The headline does show up on the page, and I'm going to show an example of that next. It shows up on the page, the user does see it, and it needs to be super clear. What do you do? How can you help me? What's your unique value proposition? What benefits do you serve? Okay? Make sure it's super clear, and it should include that term again that you're trying to rank for. Finally, the meta description. The meta description is not seen on the page, it's seen in the search results, but it's basically a further description of what information is on this page. Okay? The next thing you're going to want to do, the third tip that Google really focus on is performance. Your site needs to be responsive, which we already talked about. If your site's not responsive, I wouldn't even worry about SEO or paid advertising. Make sure your site's responsive, and make sure your site's fast. Does it load quick? Does it make me wait? If it does, Google will penalize you. So Google's number one objective is to give people the best user experience they possibly can get. So if I search on Google for something and I click on it, and your site's not responsive, so it doesn't look good on my mobile device, and it's super slow, I'm going to have a bad experience, and I'm going to leave your site right away. I might not even wait for it to load, okay? And that's the reality. You have about 1 second to capture someone's attention, or they're going to leave. So if my site doesn't load fast, you just lost a potential customer or a potential new lead, and Google will eventually end up penalizing you for that because they know this information. They know your website's slow. They know it's not responsive. Okay, so if you want to move up in the search engines, the best way to do that is make sure you have a responsive site, make sure it's super fast. And Google does have free tools to measure your page speed. So I would look into that. Okay, again, Google it. Security. This is again a technical one. Check with your web developer. If you're running your own site, maybe get with your hosting company. This is kind of just a standard thing. Google wants all sites to be secure. And what makes it secure, you should have, and you can check your own website. If it says HTTPS right in the browser window, then you know your website's secure and you're all set. If not, get with your hosting company or get with your web developer. You have to purchase an SSL certificate. There's often free ones that you can use. Again, a little bit more technical. I'm not going to get into it much. Just make sure you have this HTTPS on your website, okay? Really important. Again, Google will reward you for this. So here's another example, and this is a client that we're just starting to work with. They came to us, and I blurred out their logo and their brand name. So as you see those blurs, I did that purposely, not to hide their company. But that's the only thing on this page, and this is a good example of the importance of keywords, understanding how people search, and how important that is on the content of your website. So, I talked about having a good headline. Here's their headline. Partners in process. It's the biggest thing on the page. It's in big contrast. It's on a blue background, it's white. It's the first thing you see. I have no idea what that means. And I don't think anyone's searching and putting in their Google search bar, partners in process. Okay, so this is a major issue. So this is the first time when I looked at this site, I was really trying to figure out what does this company do. I can read all the copy on this page and I will still not have any idea what this company does. So I scrolled down a little bit further, I looked at this image and it looks like some type of plant, some type of refinery maybe. It's not really giving me really good indication on what this company does. And then I saw this kind of gray sentence right here. And I thought, oh, this is it. I'll read this sentence and then that will explain to me what this company does. So I'm going to read it for you because I think it's interesting. And the way people kind of perceive their business and how they want other people to look at it isn't really sometimes a great idea. Blank is an ISO certified distributor that provides innovative and diversified solutions designed to meet needs of our customers' process qual. I have no idea what that means, right? It's all a bunch of BS, right? And so my point is, this isn't centered around, it doesn't serve a purpose for me. I don't know what this company does, and I don't know how they can help me. Therefore, search engines aren't going to find it. Okay, it's going to be no value in Google. So there's some major issues here. A few things that we can change on this website, and it's going to they're going to see a huge boost in Google, and they're going to see a huge boost when people get to this site as potential new customers that say, okay, yeah, maybe I want to do business with this company. In here is this, over here is their, this is what they look like in the Google search results. So if I did a search for this company, this is what comes up. This is an example of, I talked about page title. And again, how important this would be. Imagine this is on a page with 10 other results. Their page title says, Innovative Solutions Through Strategic Partnerships. Again, I don't even know idea what that even means. And I asked the client what that means, and I'm not sure he really knew, okay? So write your copy, write your headlines, write your titles for people you're going to do business with. The meta description shows up below that, and that should be a better description of what's on this page. And it's, again, it's really has a lot to be desired. By the way, this company sells industrial filters, right? No one would know. Last thing I'm going to say about Google, really, and kind of SEO, is the value of reviews. Again, here's another one of those takeaways that I'm hoping somebody gets. If you don't already have one, make sure you claim your Google My Business page, okay? Even if you're doing business all across the country and it's not local. A lot of people think this is just for brick and mortars. It's really not. It's for service companies. It's for all kinds of different businesses. Claim your Google My Business. It does help with local SEO. It helps with your overall health of your website and overall SEO. It improves click-through rates, but most importantly, is kind of the last point down here. Get reviews. I know this might be a stretch for a lot of people in here, but ask your clients for reviews. Point them to Google, give them the link, send them an email after you do business, say, hey, do you mind taking 30 seconds to do a quick review? Buyers need validation from their industry peers before taking action. I guarantee every single person in here has looked at reviews and has valued the reviews when making a decision. Okay, it's just a part of the world today. Having all this information at our fingertips, we go into Google, and the first thing we do is research. So if you're thinking about how can I grow my business and what's the value of Google and searching and optimization, and as you're starting to deal with millennials and Generation Y as they start to come up, and they were born with a cell phone in their hand and internet access at speeds that we can't even imagine, they're going to go to Google the very first thing they do to find your business or do research or figure out who you are. Okay, so that was the SEO side of things. Now I'm going to get into the paid search side of it. And again, SEO is an ongoing, long kind of process. I can do all these changes I just pointed out, and I'm not going to see results for 6 to 8 months, and that's just how Google works. We're kind of at the mercy of them. Paid search advertising, also known as PPC, is a little bit different. PPC is where digital marketing, where search engines such as Google and Bing allow advertisers to bid for space on their search engine results page, okay? This top area right here, you can see by this little square right here, it says ad. These top results are paid. So in order to get there, I have to pay Google. What's great about this? You can get quick, instant results. Again, I can set up an ad campaign today. I can go back to my office tomorrow, turn it on, and get qualified traffic right to my site immediately. Pretty powerful. I have a warning there, be careful. If you have no idea what you're doing, you can spend a lot of money and waste it. You can set daily caps. If I say, hey, I just want to spend $10 a day, that's great. Google has a little plus or minus in there, but for the most part, it will spend a daily spend. PPC is also great for collecting data. So once I go online and once I have, and again, this is the power of digital marketing versus traditional sales and handshakes and phone calls, is I have a ton of data at my fingertips to help me make better decisions. So with pay-per-click advertising, what I'm going to do, and I'll explain this next, but I'm going to bid on keywords. I'm going to say, hey, if someone types in heavy equipment appraisal, I want to show up. So that's the keyword that I want to be there for, I'll be there. Now I can start to see who clicked on that, who clicked on which one of my ads. I can create 3 different ads for that exact same keyword and test them and see what terminology resonates better with users. Who's going to click on it? And then once they got to my site, what action did they take? And I can track all that whole entire process all the way to a lead. Okay, the data is invaluable. And finally, unlike some offline or more traditional marketing, I can actually calculate a real return on investment. Just by what I just said. I know exactly how much it costs for when someone clicked on my ad, they got to my website, they filled out a form, that form went to one of my salespeople who called that customer and closed the deal. That deal, plus the lifetime value of that client, was X. And I know exactly how much I paid for that. I got a real ROI now. So now I can just turn up the dial. If those numbers match up and they meet my needs, just turn up the dial and get more leads. Or if it doesn't match up, I turn the dial down and I start to tweak things and change them until I get to the point where I want it. Okay? Really, really powerful stuff. So what is PPC? How does it work? PPC, again, an acronym for pay per click. On a really basic high level, every time someone clicks on my ad, I pay Google. That's it. I mean, in the most simplest form, that's what it is. If my ad runs for 5 days and no one happens to click on it, I don't pay anything. I only pay when someone clicks. I determine what keywords I want to show up for. So I can put a list of keywords into Google, okay, again, search terms, what people are searching for, and say, hey, for these 25 words, if they put in any one of these 25 words, I want my ad to show up. I set the price that I'm willing to pay, okay? So it's real easy. I'll go back to the red Nike shoes. Red Nike shoes, there's a lot of people out there selling shoes. There's going to be a ton of competition for that term. So everybody's going to be bidding on it, okay? What the price you set is called your bid. So if I say, hey, I want to spend $5 for a click, there might be someone else out there that says, I want to spend $6, $7, $8, right? And the more people that are in that game, the more it's going to drive the price up. Your ad rank will ultimately determine your placement and cost. I'm not going to get too far into this. It gets really technical, but there's probably about a dozen different factors that Google uses to determine who's on top, who's next, who's third, and what your actual cost is. But if I say, hey, my top bid, all I'm willing to pay is $5, I'm not going to pay more than that, okay? But it might not mean that I show up number 1. I might show up 2, 3, 4, depends on how many people are bidding. Keyword research. I could probably create a whole nother slide deck on keyword research when it comes to pay-per-click advertising. All I'm going to say for this is really start simple, start brainstorming, what are my products, what are my services, what am I offering? You're looking, the other great thing I think about Google PPC, pay-per-click, is that oftentimes people are going into Google, and this isn't always, but oftentimes I'm going in with intent, right? Red Nike shoes. My intention is to research them and probably buy them, right? That's why I'm looking. So if I'm putting in, farm equipment appraisal services, it's probably likely because I have a need, right? So there's always intent there, which is good. So look for and try to brainstorm keywords or search terms with some intent. Again, my example here, appraisals. Way too broad, could mean anything, means 100 different things to 100 different people. I'm gonna end up spending a ton of money and wasting a lot of money because they're unqualified people coming to my site. So, Google's Keyword Planner, I already talked about this. Go to ads.google.com. There's a free tool in there. You can type in your keywords. Google will spit back to you exactly how many people are searching for that per month. So if I put in red Nike shoes, it might tell me there's 20,000 searches a month for red Nike shoes. Okay, good. At least I know. I might put in another term, and I might get ultra specific, and Google's going to tell me there's less than 10 searches a month for that term. So that might not be a term I want to go after, but on the flip side, we've had clients who had high ticket items that only maybe 10 people a month are searching for, and we have to make sure that we show up, number one, if someone does search for that term, okay? Check out your competition. If you don't know where to start, or maybe you're already running some ads, there's a website called spyfood.com. I go to this website, I type in a competitor's domain name, and it will spit back what keywords they're bidding on, and it will even show me the ads they were running, okay? There's a free portion of this tool. I would encourage you to just go check it out. If you like it, you can definitely pay for the tool to get more information. It gets pretty in-depth, but go ahead and check that out. So before I create any ads, I'm going to get back and kind of be redundant, but I got to create a good landing page. So what is a landing page? I run ads on Google. When someone clicks on that page, or when someone clicks on the ad, the page they land on is called my landing page, okay? It's really, really important, and this is the number one thing. If you get anything out of what a good landing page is, make sure it's relevant to the search and to the ad that I'm running. Google puts a huge emphasis on relevance because that's their number one goal. Google's number one goal is to have people use their search engine and get the answers or what they're looking for as quickly and simply as possible. So, my red Nike shoes example, if that's the search term I'm going after, and I create an ad that says red Nike shoes, and then they click on that, and they go to my home page, okay? And on my home page, I'm showing all the shoes I sell. Not just red Nike shoes. I have Adidas, I have Under Armour, I have whatever other shoes. I have red, black, green, yellow. I have all kinds of shoes on there. It's not relevant to the ad and the search term I was running. People are going to leave. They're not going to take action. I'm dropping them in the middle of the desert and say, find your way home. I have no idea, right? So that person's going to leave my site immediately. Again, I said you have about 1 second to capture their attention, to answer their questions, to get them to take an ad and some type of action on your site. So make sure it's relevant. Write compelling headlines. Make sure it's clear and relevant. We already talked about headlines probably enough already. Create effective copy. Address your client's pain points and highlight your unique value proposition. Again, I'm beating a dead horse here. How can you help me? When I get on your website, you better be able to answer that question. How can you help me? Because that's what I'm looking for. Trust signals. This is statistical evidence, testimonials, those star reviews I talked about. Trust badges. Are you part of the BBB? Do you have certifications? Show those. Okay, that creates trust in the user. That will make me more likely to take the action that you want. And finally, have a good call to action. Request a quote. Call now. What do you want me to do when I get on your page? Super important. Here's that gearbox, or the gear company we were showing you earlier. We created this landing page for them. We run ads that are very specific to this page, and I'll end up showing you an example of that. But here's a great example of a really effective landing page. The term that I'm going for is gearbox repair. The first thing you see on the page uses that keyword, gearbox repair. What's my unique value proposition? Well, I offer to and from shipping, right? Right here, free shipping, free pickup and delivery. I have a clear call to action, contact an engineer, or you can use your phone and call us, right? Which is all trackable. We can track every phone call that they call off of this website. I have another value proposition here that we have local and national rush service. So if my gearbox breaks down, I'm screwed, right? That means some machine in my factory or crane isn't working. I likely need it fixed as fast as possible. We're addressing their pain points right here. showing a good before and after picture, so I know exactly what to expect. Here's what it looked like before, here's what they do. And then I have my trust signals down here, made in the USA, a couple certifications, ISO, and something else. Okay, so I'm building trust with the user. Really effective, they've had amazing results right from this landing page alone. We sent a bunch of traffic right here. So creating an effective search ad. What constitutes a good ad? And I'm going to go through this kind of quick. But I want to include a keyword in my ad copy and description, include my offer or value prop. I've said value proposition probably 10 times in this talk. It's that important, okay? There's so much competition out there. There's so many different websites. How are you going to differentiate yourself? So include your value proposition. Include a call to action, including an emotional trigger or some sense of urgency. Rush service available. Limited time offer, which probably doesn't appeal to most people in here, but. And then finally, again, make sure it's relevant to the search. I gotta make sure that my ad matches their search. So again, red Nike shoes, that's my search term. My ad better say red Nike shoes, and it better talk all about red Nike shoes and how great they are and how good and fast you'll be if you wear my shoes, these red Nike shoes, okay? So make sure it's relevant to the keyword that was used, and make sure the ad is relevant to the landing page. Again, don't have an ad about red Nike shoes and then send them to an Under Armour page. Okay, major mistake. So here's the ad for that landing page we just showed you. Here's the ad that we'll run. This is the exact ad. So if I type in gearbox repair, the first thing, you see is gearbox repair and rebuild. It matches our headline exactly, and it matches the keyword. It's all relevant, okay? I'm giving the user exactly what they expect. If they search for gearbox repair, they're expecting to see ads that address gearbox repair. My value prop is right here, free and local pickup. Request a quote, there's my call to action. Gearbox one-stop shop. So I'm telling people right up front, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is how we can help you, and we can help you really fast. We're gonna solve their pain right now. And then we're gonna send them to that landing page that says all the same things and then some, okay? I went through that extremely quick. That was my SEO and pay-per-click advertising. These things can work together. I think both of those in combination, though, really help you evaluate, take a look at your website and where you're putting people on your landing pages, for example. Because if you don't start there and you don't have a good foundation, none of that stuff is going to be successful. So is your efforts working? It's time to analyze and adjust. I talked about Google Analytics. Make sure you have it, get it installed, work with your web developer to get that. It's invaluable. It's going to tell you exactly where people came from to get to your website, what actions they took on your website, what pages they were on, how long they were on your site. And it's going to tell you if they completed one of the goals. So a lot of times we have a goal. We want someone to fill out this form as a new business lead. And Google Analytics will be able to tell us exactly who filled that form out and how they got there. We'll know what search terms people are using. So through Google Ads, I know exactly what terms people use to find my product or service. I know exactly what ad they clicked on, and then I can follow them all the way through to that process of them filling out a form or calling us. Start testing. If you get to a point where you're running some Google Ads, or if you're currently running Google Ads, I highly encourage you to start testing. Find your most successful ad, duplicate it, and change one or two words. If your landing page isn't converting, right, people are not taking action that you want them to take, test your landing page. Change the headline, change the image, okay? Start tweaking and testing. Finally, let the data guide your decisions. I'm a huge proponent and believer in digital marketing, and mainly for this purpose alone. That there's so much data at our fingertips, it's going to guide us to make better decisions, more informed decisions, and help us be more effective and efficient. okay? So any client that we work with, our goal is to use and spend their money as efficiently as possible, and we do that just through all the data that we can collect. So that's it. A couple things to remember. I've already said probably all these more times than you care to hear. But as a quick recap, Google offers a bunch of free tools. I encourage you to go on there and get them, use them. Make sure that your landing page and websites are set up for success. We talked about that. Make sure they're responsive, make sure they're fast, all those items. The content on your website, what do you do and how can you help me? If there's nothing else, do that. Go back to your office and look at your website and say, am I answering the questions of what do we do and how can we help us? Super important. Relevance. Make sure your ads and landing page, make sure your website, even for SEO, it needs to have relevant content. What search terms are people using? What terminology do people find you? How do they find you? Is it relevant? Is my ad and is my landing page relevant to those terms? And last is, unfortunately, none of this stuff is a set it and forget it. You know, some of you might have heard of marketing automation, like as if I can turn a switch on and then walk away and it's going to do it for me. You know, just like anything in your business, you can't just set it and forget it. You kind of have to nurture it, go back and forth, evaluate what you're doing, take a look at it, and see how you can make adjustments to continuously improve. That's it. I'm not sure I could have talked any faster, so I apologize if that went too quick. Joe?
We got some time for questions, but throw the cube.
I guess I got to throw a cube around. If anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to throw the cube at you. And I'll stick around after the fact and be more than happy to talk with anyone, answer your questions, help you out any way that I can. So
the little gearbox that you did.
yeah.
What does that cost? What does that cost to get? As an example.
Are you asking, it's a good question, are you asking what the client is paying per click?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think the client on that one's paying somewhere around $4 to $5 a click on that ad. But again, they're selling a pretty high ticket item that has a long lifetime value. So if they get one company to send them a gearbox, if they do things right, they're probably going to have a client for the next 10 years. So yeah, I mean, we've had clients, it depends on how competitive it is. I think a typical cost per click for a lot of the clients we work with are between $1 and $10. But we've also had clients in the computer IT cloud services that are somewhere near the $20 to $30 a click. So it's hard to tell until you get in there. Anyone else? Okay. Thanks, guys.